Hi, welcome back to the part 2 of my 2021 Colorado video. Start out with a nice little shot of Bear Creek Falls just south of Ouray. From where I left off in the last video, we definitely had some more thunderstorms that rolled through like they typically do in the summer in these mountains. Some good lightning and kind of some amazing clouds that were in the area too. Kind of cool to see. And there we spent a little bit of time in town checking out the train system that runs from Durango to Silverton. Looks pretty cool, and everybody loves a cool old train. There's actually several really nice falls along South Mineral Creek area, and it's always nice to be around falls. There's something about falling water and ions and all that makes you feel good, and it sounds nice too. The next day is our Black Bear Pass day, and we do it a little bit differently. In this case, we went up road number 822, which is actually Porphyry Gulch, and we go to the end of that, and there's an old mine site there and everything, but it's kind of a nice little spot where we have in the past and did it again. Did a little bit of, I guess you'd say, I don't know what you want to say, not really rock collecting, but there's actually a little spot that's got a whole bunch of cubes of pyrite that we kind of chip out and kind of save some of them. From Porphyry Gulch, there's kind of a crossover cutoff that gets you over to the Black Bear Pass trail. So we did that. There's some pretty cool little waterfalls along that as well. And then basically we're heading up towards the summit of Black Bear Pass. The climb up to the actual Black Bear Pass itself is really not much different than the other roads kind of in the whole San Juan Mountain area. That's not that different in that case, but it's after you get past the summit, the actual pass itself, that it starts to get a lot more interesting. I've driven Black Bear Pass 5 times now, and it's always a kind of fun, exciting trail. It's got enough adventure to it to kind of get your heart racing a little bit, but yet it's not that dangerous that I really worry that much about it. But the views are amazing when you're on the steps above Telluride. You're just looking down in that valley, so you just can't really beat it. It's definitely something you need to do. The upper part, just past the summit or the pass itself, is mostly a big section of shelf roads with some amazing views. Nothing that extreme or special in this case. It's just a pretty cool drive. It's about a quarter mile before you get to the steps that you start getting into some, I guess you could say, deteriorated, rocky sections. And there have been a couple people there's some old videos where people have rolled on some of these sections. They got the placement wrong and on corner dipped too much and rolled it. So we definitely always take it easy. There's kind of 2 spots that are kind of something that it's good to basically have some spotters for. Watching these vastly different vehicles handle the same section of rock, it really kind of shows you how much one vehicle is different at it than others, and like this Jeep just kind of rolls over it like it's no big deal. Just after this second obstacle is where you really hit the it's known as the Black Bear Pass steps, and that's where you kind of roll over the top of this little bit of a flat section, and you really hit the steeper part of the actual switchbacks themselves. This is where it really gets a lot more interesting. It's even more interesting holding a camera out the window while driving with one hand on this narrow area. As with any more technical spots when you're off-roading, it's all about speed. Keep your speed down and take your time, and if you're not sure about something, check it out. Then basically these things are really not that hard to do. It's not that dangerous or anything like that. It's just make sure you know your surroundings and take your time. This section certainly looks plenty wide when you see these trucks coming down it. In this case, there's a spot out there that's a little bit narrow yet, but when you're inside looking over the hood, this looks like you've got like, I don't know, a foot extra, and that's about it. Ingram Creek makes a pretty nice waterfall just after the steps, so it makes a pretty nice photo op. Well, just about where I am, there used to be a rock that everybody would kind of go up onto. After that waterfall, and the first 2 or 3 switchbacks is where it really gets interesting. It's pretty narrow, and it feels like you can, drop a tire off pretty easily, but there's room there. You just take your time. And enjoy the thrill of driving a shelf road with pretty big drop-offs on the edge. The first hairpin turn after the Ingram Creek waterfall is where it really gets kind of most interesting. You probably always are going to want to have a spotter. There's a sharp edge right there that the wheel is almost off every time, no matter how sharp you turn. We usually did a 3-pointer on this, so my full size did it with the same amount of 3-point turns. Basically, it's all about hitting your points, but you do get pretty close to the edge, up there in front of where he's pointing right there, and it's a thrill, but a spotter makes all the difference, and it's really not that big a deal then. After this hairpin, everything gets a little bit easier. Another one of the 2 of the hairpins are, maybe a 3-pointer, but not that you need any help with it or anything like that. And then you get to one point where you finally get some amazing views of the waterfalls, and that's pretty cool in itself. This is the Bridal Veil Falls with the power station at the top, and this is still generating power for the town below, Telluride. After Black Bear Pass, we spent a little bit of time in Telluride, looking around town and stuff like that. We usually don't spend a whole lot of time there. It's pretty crowded and expensive and stuff like that, and we like to, basically do the trails. It's really pretty cool town, though. From there, we basically head up the other side of the canyon, which is Imogene Pass, and from there you can look back towards where you came from at Black Bear. But Imogene's another really great trail to do, lots to see, a lot of mining along this route, and you get to, I think, the highest point in all of the driving that we do in this San Juan area. There certainly is some iconic things to do along Imogene Pass Road. I don't know why, but we Overlanders, I guess it's water crossings and tunnels. I can't not film that. It's I guess a little bit more unique than you get every day on the highway. A little more than halfway up Imogene, you get to what is known as Savage Basin, and that's where Tomboy mine site is, and there's still some pretty major large ruins around here to kind of stop and check out and look around at and everything. And then as you continue up from those ruins, you just keep running into more and more. At one point, this was a pretty darn big mine area with a lot of buildings and a lot of infrastructure. Maybe about a mile past the first Tomboy ruins is when you finally get to the main shelf road that gets you up to the actual Imogene Pass itself. Plenty of room on this. It's a pretty easy drive, and it's quite a view from there. There's no two ways around that. At the top of the pass, you're actually at 13,114 feet, and it's pretty rare to be able to drive your vehicle over 13,000 feet, and it's pretty neat to do. Maybe 3/4 of a mile down from the summit of the pass itself is another iconic thing to do, and there's a kind of a rock that sticks out over the valley, and it's kind of pretty neat to always drive out on that and get your Instagram shots on that.
Oh shit!
After the shelf roads on your way down, the really first main thing you hit is the Upper Camp Bird mine area, and there's plenty to see there, so definitely check that out.
Alright, here's the tent. Got a little bit of rain coming, so the awning's out. Starting to sprinkle now. These guys are sleeping in their trucks over there. Dan does his hammock there. And Sean's all set up down in here. And then right through here we have a fire pit down by the river, by the stream. And from here we got a view of the waterfalls.
So this night we stayed on the north side of the Imogene Pass, kind of halfway down, and then the next day we got up and headed down. We went up Yankee Boy Basin Road a little ways and crossed Snuffles Creek, and headed up into what's known as Silver Basin. I hadn't been up in that area at all before. It's something a little bit different. I don't think as many people go up there as most of the other areas. Silver Basin has a couple of nice lakes and a couple of mine sites too to check out. After Silver Basin, we headed up Governor Basin Road, and that's gets pretty high up at the very top of that, and there's some amazing wildflowers at the time of year we were there. And you end up basically right below a kind of a ridge of real kind of like shark tooth rocks at the top. It's pretty neat. After Governor, we went up into Yankee Boy Basin a little bit to check that out, and then took Yankee Boy Basin Road back down into Ouray and looked around town there for a little while. On our way back to camp, we went through the Red Mountain Mining District and stopped at places like the Yankee Girl, and then took I guess it's the Brooklyn Road that goes up and over. It's a really nice road. It runs parallel to the highway, and I kind of highly recommend it. It was great views up there, and it's pretty nice. Still had some time in the day left, so we did a kind of an afternoon run where we crossed the Animas River just kind of by the Silverton Lakes RV Park. There's a road that kind of crosses there and runs parallel up into the gulch. The road is labeled as 20, and it comes out by Arastra Gulch or the Mayflower Mill. Pretty much every night at camp includes a campfire. I did a little bit of funky flames in this to get some good colors, and the slow-mo, it's kind of incredible the sound that the pops make from just the sap popping. The next day we had some stuff to do in town, but I had a half a day to kind of catch some more trails, so we decided to go out towards Hurricane Pass. And there's a cutoff about a half a mile before the pass that goes up in the area called Ross Basin and Sunnyside Saddle, and then climbs up to a pretty high peak, and that peak actually is higher than California Pass. You look down on it. So never really been up that area. It's quite a road, and it gets you pretty high, and it was pretty fun little activity to do a little side trail. From there we kind of did another side trail I'd never been down before. A couple hundred yards before you get to Hurricane Pass, there's a split off that goes towards the left if you're coming from Cement Creek area, and that goes down into what's called Alaska Basin. That kind of runs parallel to Poughkeepsie Gulch, only kind of above it a ways. And we went down to it's not a very heavily traveled trail, and it kind of was a little bit, not as well maintained and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of an adventure, but it was still certainly quite the views down there. It was well worth a little bit of a side trail there too. After that, we went over California Pass, down California Gulch with some great wildflowers, and then up Picayune Gulch, and then headed back into town for our last night. To break up the drive on the way home, we made a stop in Monument Valley, and then also did Schnebly Hill down into Sedona. It really helped break it up.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe. We'll see you on the trail.